let's talk about 15,000 people team. It is a big number, and multi-dollar, project portfolios. If you had to distill a couple of leadership lessons that you have experienced or that you have developed in managing such a large team and managing such multi-million dollar projects, what those would be? Couple of them.
So I have only one word for that: be honest. Be honest with your customers, be honest with your management, be honest with your peers, be honest with your team. The maneuvering and manipulation doesn't work. Everyone is as intelligent, if not more intelligent, than one thinks. So if you're managing a large size team, you have to have a compassion. You have to have a proper structure in place where everyone gets a proper KRA, KPA. They know what exactly they are supposed to do and what they are not doing. So everything has to be a metrics driven. So for example, if there is a developer, a .NET developer, that developer's KPA should indicate that the defect rate of the deliverable should not be more than X%. The schedule
Mhm.
variance should not be more than Y%. So when you are judging a person's performance, it's totally objective based. And it is very convincing even for a person to understand where the person has performed, where are the areas of improvement. So in such a large and a diverse team across continent, those metrics driven performance management, metrics driven KPA and compassion is very important. For example, on the compassion part, I think every leader has to go through it, whether they like it or not. They have to give a bottom 10% to their
Mhm.
team members, the rating, and certain percentage has to be asked to go every year. Now that's a painful thing for any leader, and Anshumanji, I'm sure you would have gone multiple times through that, where you would
Right.
have done that and had a sleepless night at home that you have
Mhm.
done that. But that's what leadership is. But point is that when one does that of giving a bottom rating, have a very humble, very nice discussion. Don't pull down a person's confidence,
Mhm.
because if you're talking of experience level of 5 to 10 years, it's very easy for them to get demotivated. So
Right.
you have to put your words in such a way that you do not demotivate that person forever. So these are some of the things which I think when you are managing a large team has to be taken care, as much as possible. Make the things objective, metrics driven, data driven.
Right. Great. Great answer. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, Ritesh ji. You have turned around troubled engagement across financial services. And these days, there is a boom in financial services. A lot of startup companies are coming into it. What are the early red flags that a founder who is thinking about building something in financial services industry, or a product for that matter of fact, should look for and try to avoid them? What are those red flags that you have seen while you were, helping multi-million dollar projects in the financial services? What were those red flags that as a leader you were able to identify and that helped you in steering it in the right course?
Sure. So most important red flag, the things which are need to be taken care without compromise in financial services is the compliance and regulatory part. There is
Yeah.
no way the compliance and regulatory part can be bypassed, can be a shortcut can be taken. For example, if there is a banking project in India, I'm just giving an example, and they have a RBI guidelines for certain kind of reporting, then that has to be complied end to end. If the banks have offices in foreign countries, then the FO report, which are called foreign offices report, so those have to
Mhm.
be compliant 100% with the foreign office regulatory. So those compliance and regulatory things in financial services uh, takes the highest priority among everything else. So what
Mhm.
that leads to is that your testing has to be very, very robust for a software product. Because if there is an enhancement, I'll give you an example. if you have already a system in place which is generating all the compliance reports for India, for SEBI, for RBI, and if there is a change or additional requirement and you make your system changes for that enhancement or additional requirement, then you have to do a proper regression testing to understand that and ensure that everything else is not impacted. Nowhere it is impacted, because one data impact can create a regulatory issue. One data impact can cause notice from the authorities. So when someone is doing a financial services IT project, then these things have to be taken care without compromise. There is a zero tolerance. Now
Right.
if someone is developing a IT product, then in product it is very important for that founder or that organization, if the product is in financial services, to understand the domain end to end, whether
Hmm.
it is banking, capital markets, insurance. If someone is developing a product in other domains, say oil and gas or retail, it may not be very essential to know the domain. But here in financial services, if someone is developing a product, if you're developing a banking product, you need to know what is corporate banking, what is investment banking, everything end to end, and understand the nitty gritties. So this is the major difference. Financial services, unless someone is very sure of having a domain, having a business analysis experience, don't get into it.
Hmm. Great, great advice. You have executed project in AI, cloud, RPA, analytics. Many founders today are excited about these buzzwords.
Hmm.
But where do you think these startups should focus first when building tech to scale in the fintech?
So, Ayush, Anshumanji, one mistake which I think with regard to this question, which the startup founders are doing, is that they are not understanding that the problem solution fit is not equal to product market fit.
Ooh, yeah.
You may have identified the problem, you may have found a solution, but that solution problem fit you have found, but that is not equal to product market fit. Your market is not looking for that product. Your tam,
Mhm.
sam, and som is the first thing which you need to do. You need to understand what is your total acquisition market, what is your sustainable acquisition market. All the things you have to understand and then get into it. So
Understood.
merely solving a problem is not the solution. Now the other thing which we all have worked in a proper waterfall model in the IT development. So if you remember, Anshumanji, we have there was a total protocol of the total project time, where the 30 or 40% needed to go into requirement analysis and design, and
Yes.
then coding and testing. Now, here the problem is that in these startups, if we equate the requirement analysis to market analysis, market research, these startups founders, many of them, they are doing the mistake that they are not doing the market research.
Hmm.
They are not understanding that their product which they are developing is very high tech, is solving lots of problem, but market is not look out for that. And also they are not able to some of them are not able to understand the nitty gritties, or some of the compliance issues. For example, I'll give you an example. One of the startup had an idea where they can they take the Aadhaar number from X entity and identify people. And while mentoring, I said that it's impossible. No entity can share the Aadhaar number or social security number of an individual with others. It's a
Right.
federal crime.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the foundation of your whole product itself is wrong. How will you get that detail?
Hmm. Hmm.
So I
Absolutely.
think I mean, you can't share the social security number, but maybe for a 22-year person to understand out of the enthusiasm, that seemed a very small part. I mean, it was totally taken, assumed that it can be done.
So that also brings up the topic that these founders obviously, if this guy or girl came to you, uh, they have already spent some time and money into their
Yes.
don't you think finding a mentor should be the first step in the startup journey?
Absolutely, absolutely, Anshumanji. And even in organization, if you see, then there is a hierarchy. The hierarchy is there with a purpose. When we joined, you, or anyone, we joined as a fresher somewhere. We had a team lead, we have a project manager, senior project manager, partner, because the partner had a larger experience of 25, 26 years, and they could understand better. And similarly, the hierarchy was built. And I totally concur with your point. The first thing is find out a mentor, a person who has a experience, uh, if possible, who has a startup experience, and who can tell
Mhm.
you more importantly what not to do than what to do.
Right, right.
And
So true.
for the bootstraps and even for the others where they are funded, it saves lots of cost, effort, and energy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So again, coming back to the fintech and the financial services, it is one of the toughest sector to crack. And India is producing so many young entrepreneurs and founders. If somebody wants to do something in fintech, and you said that, hey, you need to be a subject matter expert. This is not an area where you can just come and try to build something. Can you give a framework, maybe 4 or 5 pointers that a founder who is thinking about fintech, how he should conceptualize and how he should look at the problem, and what his or her first few steps should be?
Sure. So let me give a overview of a fintech for the young generations who are looking
Yes.
to get into fintech. I'm sure you know more than that. So if someone is planning to start a startup in fintech, they have to be very sure whether they want to do in banking, capital markets, insurance. And even if they want to do in banking, are they going to cater the whole banking sector? If they are going to do in capital markets, are they going to cater the whole capital market sector, which includes the front end, which includes the front office, mid office, back office, clearing, settlements? What are they going to do? For example, are they going to automate? For example, if there are 6 or 7 entities which have clearing and settlement in a different way, are they going to standardize it with their AI tool? What are they going to do, and how is it going to help those organizations? The third one is insurance. If they are doing something in insurance, whether it is life, non-life, so they have to dissect the financial services first into banking, insurance, capital market, then dissect it further, and then understand what are they going to do in which area and what is the problem which they are going to solve. For
Mhm.
example, I was talking to one of the startups, and they had tied up with the drones, a drone organization, and they are serving the non-life insurance sector. So if someone reaches out to them for their warehouse, a new warehouse insurance, or the renewal of the insurance of the warehouse, then from the
Mhm.
drones and the GIS, and they take the data of what is the climate, flood, soil situation of that place where that warehouse is placed, how prone are they to the floods, and how prone is that area for cyclones, etc. And basis that, and from the drones they take the top view and the other structures, uh, pictures, and basis that they calculate the premium.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
while they are in the insurance sector, they are in a non-life, but they have collaborated with the drones, which helps them calculate the premium year on year.
Right. Right.
So these are some of the innovative things which founders even in the fintech needs to do. It may not be totally tech driven, but the other aspects, other collaborations can also help them.
Right. Right. Understood. And this is very beneficial to any founder who is thinking about fintech. That, how to start a fintech. This is gold mine. Let's talk about the general mistakes. You have been mentoring at IIT. People get in touch with you from so many other groups also, like Jharkhand, and you have a personal linkage to Jharkhand and Bokaro Steel City. What do you think is the difference between a tier one, like Mumbai, NCR, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and a founder sitting back in Jharkhand, Bokaro, Ranchi, Indore, Jaipur?
I think there are a couple of them, Anshumanji, in my view. One is the difference in exposure. The
Hmm.
difference in exposure right from the childhood, because of the geography, because of the cities, state, is very different. So when you are in place like Delhi Metro, Hyderabad, Chennai, you may have your father's friends or in the same apartment, uncles and bhaiyas who would be doing startups, who would be doing business. You would be hearing the local terms like revenue, gross operating profit, margins, etc., right from the childhood. It's like someone being a movie director's son. So you see all the actors, all the producers. So when you grow up, those terms are not new. You take the informal learning a lot, and you start in a scale of 1 to 10 from 5. But if you
Right,
see tier 2 cities, in tier 2 cities, that exposure is not much, because most of the people there are, their parents are from service class. So from the service class, they, that discussion of entrepreneurship, that discussion of business, at least in our generation, was not very prominent. Someone doing business in tier 2 cities, it meant someone is having a shop. That's
right.
it. So that difference in exposure is missing, and it's no one's fault. It's because of the cities, the different demographics, the different family upbringing, the professions in the family, etc. The other thing is that uh, in if someone is there in metro, then access to funds, access to VCs becomes very easy.
Hmm.
And if someone is there remotely in tier 2, tier 3 cities, and they are working from there, and they have offices or set up there, then working with VCs and getting fund is requires little bit more convincing.
Hmm.
Be-
I think the ecosystem is not mature enough into a tier two and tier three city. But the onus is on people like us also, Ritesh, to go and develop those ecosystems. Because think of it from an investor perspective, what I feel is a founder who is doing work in a tier two, tier three city, their valuation will be much less from the founder doing the same thing from tier one city at the
I
same
totally
level.
agree.
If the ARR, MRR is the same, the trajectory is the same, the TAM is the same sphere what they are building. So just from the valuation perspective and investment and growth perspective, if a startup investor identifies a company in tier two, tier three, I think they getting a 10x is much more easier than investing in a well-funded startup in Hyderabad, Bangalore, wherever, and then trying to go to 10x.